All right, this one's for Mom. I wanted to go through reading my third grade English notebook. Let's see. Mudmeisters at Bowlin Creek. There's me and my friends in a structure made out of clay and sticks. Pedritos Day by Lewis and Clark. Bicycle, okay. These are things that I wanted to write. I didn't write all of them. Living lawnmower, the tree reader, delivery day, happy birthday Gilbert Monter. I think this was a monster. The big birthday boom, my giant flying birthday cake. I guess it started on my birthday. The big 10-layer birthday cake. The year 15. I think because I calculated that would be the next time my birthday would fall on a Friday, and I really liked Cartoon Network Fridays, and I wanted to do a shout out. I wanted to email them to do a shout out. My biggest birthday present. I thought it said birthday present, but it says birthday present. Pedritos Day by Lewis and Clark. 1. Bicycle tree. 2. Bowlin bike. 3. Rusted. 4. Bicycle story. Weekly reminder. They need to take because they need to all know what they are doing when they work together. This means that in order for them to all know each other's ideas, exampled, if there is a drought, one elephant can tell the others how to get water. Mudmeisters. Splat, splat. During the time, crack, splat, splat. During the time we had to all really start. Okay. During the time we had already during the time we were in something had already started. The Friday War, and started to fight with weapons. It was Monday, October 19th, 2004, when he came. At first we saw him as a traitor, but we thought wrong. The next day we were setting our traps when he told us when he told us. He told us all about the I should be able to read this more clearly now. Next day we were setting our traps when he told us. He told us about the witcher. I don't know. I don't know what that says. Oh, the neutrals. And he told us about being a neutral. He also told us a little about the other team. But when we asked him about the one weakness they had, he just said it was something sharp. By Thursday, mostly everyone, almost full. And then there's a bunch of scribbles all over there. Almost fully trusted him. So we let him guard the fort when the rest of us went to see the new lake. Since I didn't trust him, I went back to see what he was doing. When I looked back, I saw that I had been right about him. Right that we shouldn't have trusted him, and right that if we turned our backs on him, he would betray us. He had invited his comrades to help him completely destroy the fort. I went back immediately to tell the mudmeisters our misfortune. The mudmeisters and I were very quick about it. We pot down to it immediately. Sticks sliding, crashing, cracking, and also sounds of the words, nobody trusted us. So this is why trust them. So why trust them? And why did you betray us? Such a fierce battle, but what a worthless one. After the Friday War ended, we tried to rebuild what had been destroyed. But when James got allergic to mud, I had to take his place. Then when we had to leave, no one agreed to my plan to move. After that, whole club slowly tumbled to the ground. If you want to go into Daniel's here, detail fine. If you want to go into Daniel's here detail, fine Mudmeisters book 4 to 8. So I had a thing in kindergarten where I would pretend to film my feet and shout Daniel's here, and I would want to make a video of what I was saying. I ended up actually filming my feet and doing that in Walk and Talk, but it's a highly private journal now. With all the stuff that I put in there. Weekly Reader. Blank. Weekly Reader. I use the smell by biting me know what the ma place got for breakfast, even thou. I don't get breakfast. in school. I ran also the smell of gasoline right before I get carsick, so I know beforehand. I know before it happens. Let's see if I can read that better. I use my smell by letting me know what the most plowed, what the best place to get for breakfast, even though I don't get breakfast in school. I can also smell gasoline right before I get carsick, so I know before it happens. Explaining why I don't get carsick often anymore, but that I guess explains why I hate the smell of new cars, because it smells like gasoline. And I get gasoline, and I had gasoline smell right before I got carsick. Rusted. Bullen Creek people have the chance to see nature, the running water, the forest, the animals, and the action. Wait, that's not it. Zoom, 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 zoom. The bikes raced down the creek. Bert was in the lead. The finish tree was only a half-mile away. He would be there in 10 minutes. But then his legs got tired. Right, that instant, Ernie sped up right behind him and bumped him into the creek and rode all the way to the next crowd, along with the other bikers. When Bert's bike fell into the creek, Bert jumped off the other side. When he kicked up his bike, he tried to resume his part in the race. But when he tried to move the pedals, but the bike wouldn't budge. At the end of the race, Bert ended up carrying the bike home. Later, that Sunday, he discovered that his bright red bike was a dark reddish brown. So he did some He did some investigating. He came down to this conclusion. It was red, his bike had rusted. Completely. When and had two solidifications. The solution was to get a new bike, and then the other was to put it in a large tank of oil. That's not how it works. Oil. He chose the oil one because it would cost less. at one time, because it would cost less at one time. So he decided to spend the following week's allowance on oil. Which he could fill his dog bath tub. So he could fill his dog bathtub? His dog bathtub. I guess it was not a regular bathtub. He knew he couldn't just store it in the tub, so he measured its capacity. The tub held 20 gallons. Each gallon of oil costed $6. But his weekly allowance was exactly that, because he was in the 6th grade. He noted his math in his head. 6 times 20 equals 120. That meant that he needed $12. He needed $120 worth of oil, and it would take 20 weeks. It would be 2 days till the first frost. So that would be, he thought, 40 divided by 7 equals 8 R times I. Meaning he wouldn't be able to bike until the next year. He came to the conclusion to get bonuses on his allowance for doing extra chores. His parents agreed to do. So the first week he got a bonus of 60 cents, and the second 61 cents, the third 62 cents, the fourth 63 cents, and it kept going like that and then I went beyond my ability to do the math in 3rd grade. I didn't know differentials, and that would be a parabola. I think we have donated money. And then I did it. The 29th week, he had $133. The 20th week, he had $133. That would be, do math. He's gotten his bike fixed 3 weeks earlier than he would have without the bonuses. He got it 15 weeks and 1 day before the frost. I never meant the 20th week. This story only goes to the 7th week. They celebrated with cake and cookies and a bike ride. The lessons of the story are: know your math. Don't ride bikes close together, especially not fast or near water, and save money in your allowance. You will never know when you could need it. And this is another thing I was looking at stories. Present story fizzles. Mudmeisters. The first mudmeisters. The Bolin Falls. Mudmeisters form 2. The schoolies. Mudmeisters form 2, number 9. The Mudmeister Falls. The Mud Falls. Carved in tree bark. The Tree Reader. One day in the year 1986, Nathaniel Greener went outside. He was 7 years old. He skipped down the trail to his favorite place to play. As he was skipping along, he heard a scraping noise, and he followed the sound to its exact place. It was coming from the bark of the tree where a small man, a leprechaun, was scratching strange symbols into the tree. I wish I could read those symbols, thought Nathaniel. Right when he thought that, something magical happened. The leprechaun smiled. As the symbol on the tree lit up, Nathaniel's eyes glowed, first green, then brown, then green again, then yellow, then after that orange, then red. After that they glowed purple, then it was brown again, then the tree colors all over again. It stopped after that, and his eyes turned back to the same hazel color they always were. Then he realized that the symbols on the tree looked like regular writing. It said, "The Leprechaun Council has decided to find a full-size human to save the forest from the threat of man. The leprechaun tree writing, keep the secret of us, and soon he will become the reader of the trees." From this day on, Nathaniel Greener visited the forest every day to read the trees. Although he had to try, he sometimes wrote them back. If you want to know how he saved the forest, read what's carved in the tree bark. I was like, I don't want to write the rest of this. Weekly Reader. If I had one magical power, it would be to turn myself into a tornado that was only 10 feet high and 4 feet wide at its widest, because I would have liked their life before the English settlers came, because nature was much more viewable in America before technology. You know, I think this was before I really became myself. That's my that's my opinion, because after I was 8, I would have never said that, because I much preferred technology. And then after I was, I don't know, now I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say the opposite of that either, because I don't believe in Native Americans having a lack of technology overall. The Bowling Falls. One Sunday afternoon, a 12-year-old Dean Evan Parker was strolling down the Bowling Creek when he came to a great big waterfall. And I totally abandoned that story. Holla for abandoning stories. The biggest hike. I was only 6 years old when I took the biggest hike of my life, aka the Trail of Tears. And then there's some music. I don't think I know the music. Yeah, I don't think I knew what I was writing at all when I wrote that. This was music looking symbols. And this is after my parents' wedding. One of my favorite memories from childhood is jumping off the high dive in New York. My grandparents, my aunt, and my cousin were all with me. They watched in awe as I was about to make my big scene. I looked at the water, waiting for the gourd to blow this whistle. Then I waiting for the guard to blow his whistle. Then I looked at the guard, and I looked at my family. As I waited and watched, I didn't realize how brave I was being. I actually wasn't even scared. I was just very excited. When the whistle blew, I clapped my hands above my head, jumped 3 times, and jumped 5 feet away from the board, and fell toes first into 20 feet down into the pool, and went 5 more down under 20 feet down into the pool. I went 5 feet more down into it. Or 5 more down under it. I think I must have made a big splash. I speed swam to the edge of the 12-foot deep water and pulled myself up and did it again. That was on my parents' honeymoon. I went to live with my grandparents while my mom and my stepdad had their honeymoon. It was very eventful. And I think that's it for this book. This has been Debt and Risk. And I'm going to put this in the bottom shelf with all the other things. And goodbye. See you in the future.